Thankful to be here this morning. You know, we weren't sure where we were going to preach this morning, and we were sitting back in the back before Sunday school, and all of a sudden Ecclesiastes was given to me. He said the 3rd chapter. He said the 15th verse. Well, I didn't know what it was. So I had to find it and had to read it. So we're going to read to you in the 3rd chapter of Ecclesiastes, but we want to start with the 11th. Read from the 11th to the 15th. And you just have to bear with us more because we don't have much more than that. So, it says, He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he has set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. I know that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And God doeth it, that men should fear before him. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. And God requireth that which is past. You know, I was reading that 15th verse, and I kept thinking, where it talks about there's nothing new under the sun. You know, you stop and you think about it. God created everything in the first 6 days. And he says in there, it says, that which hath been is now. Today, in this old world, stop and think about everything that's going on. This has happened before.
That's right.
There isn't anything new under the sun. What this world is going through now has happened before.
That's right.
And what else does it tell us there? It says, and that which is to be hath already been. So what's to happen in the future, he says, has already happened once before. It says, and God requireth that which is past. And that last line was for us. He requires of us that which is past. One day we're going to have to face God, and we're going to have to stand before him. And we're only going to be able to say yes or no to the Lord. And he's going to ask us about things that happened in our past. We're not going to be able to make up an excuse. We're either going to be able to tell him, yes, Lord, or no, Lord. Now think about that. Think about that for a moment. It says, and God requireth that which is past. Right now it's the present. Tomorrow this will be the past. So stop and think about it. If you want to stop and you want to correct things in your past, you need to start now. Because tomorrow, today will be our past. And if we want things to go better in our past, we need to start now. We need to start following after the Lord. We need to, give a high five once in a while. We need to do stuff for the Lord. Whatever we do for the Lord has already been done before. That's what the Bible tells us. Whatever he's going to have us do in the future has already been. But he will require that of us. What is in our past? You know, whenever Max didn't stand up and preach much, God's going to require that of Max. Not of anybody else, but of me. The things that I've done in my past, God's going to require of me, not anybody else. I'm the one that's going to have to answer for everything I did. Everything that I've done. Whether I followed after the Lord or whether I followed after the old devil. Because the Bible tells us, if you're not serving the Lord, you're serving the devil. And you say, well, I'm saved. I've got the Lord in my heart. I'm always serving. Unless you're in constant prayer with the Lord, let me tell you what, the old devil's going to come in and you're serving him. And then the things that we do, God's going to require of those. You know, I thought I'd never pastor a little old church after I pastored 1 year over Pleasant Hill, but no, that's not what I'm supposed to do. But you know what? That was Max thinking, not God.
Right.
You know what? A lot of times we think things. We think things, and they're not so, they're not to be. What we have to think things is of God. Things that are of God. And also up there, if you remember, it says, He hath made everything beautiful in His time. Also He has set the world in their heart, so no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. I want you to stop and think about that verse. Yeah, that's not the 15th verse, but it was in there for us to read. What He's done, have you ever just stopped and thought and looked at everything that God has done? If you have, you haven't done it for very long. And if you have, you haven't done it too many times. Because things of this old world is what comes into play. And that's what He tells us there. It says, also He has set the world in their hearts, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. We're too worried about things of this old world. We're worried about things of tomorrow. Whenever we need to be concentrating on things that are now. Right now. There's nothing more important in this world than right now. What we do for the Lord, we have to do for Him right now. I have to come on Sunday and I have to stand up here for Him, and I have to do it right now. Because that's what He wants me to do. Let me tell you, I didn't choose to be a preacher. And if it's up to me, I'd be in the back pew. And that's where I was for a lot of years. You know, we can't run, we can't hide from the Lord. You say, well, I don't want to do anything for the Lord because things happen. Let me tell you what, things do happen. It says it rains on the just and the unjust alike. Things that are going to be good and bad are going to happen to you.
Right.
Just think about that. Things that are good and bad are going to happen to you, and they've already happened in the past before to others. You know, what we have to do is we have to work on getting our heart right with the Lord.
Amen.
If we don't have our heart right with the Lord, look at this old world today. You know, you go back in time and it says what is happening today has happened before. Well, you know what? They made it through those times. How'd they make it through those times? Because they had God.
Amen.
That's how they made it. That's how this whole world's going to make it today. They're going to make it today because of God, not man. Man's not going to get us out of what's going on in this whole world. God will. But you know what? A year or two from now, there's going to be something else in this whole world. And you know what it's going to take them to get us through it? God. We need to quit putting our faith and our trust in man and remember who the King is. Jesus Christ. The one who died on the cross for us. Shed his blood for us. Arose the third day for us. We need to be putting our faith and our trust in him and forget about man, putting our trust in them. Yes, we're supposed to help man. We're supposed to help our brother, our sister. We're supposed to help one another. God doesn't tell us to turn our back on anyone. God tells us that if somebody comes to us and they're naked and we go, oh, God will take care of you, go on. Guess what? They're still naked. If they come to you hungry and you say, well, you just go on. God will feed you. They're still hungry. We have to work for the Lord. If someone comes to us in need, and he's got it on our heart to take care of them, we're to take care of. You know? And he doesn't tell us we're going to take care of everybody. But if God comes along and says, Max, I need you to help so-and-so. Well, Max is supposed to help so-and-so. Or if he says, Max, just stand back, Max is supposed to just stand back. Where Max runs into problems when he tries to do it on his own. When he sees the one he's supposed to help and say, oh, you're good, go on. And the one that I'm supposed to stand back and not help, I go and I think, well, I'm going to do good. I'm going to take care of them. And guess what? Everything I did and didn't do just caused a turmoil.
Right.
Easiest way to put it, a turmoil. What we're supposed to do is we're supposed to be working for the Lord. Not the almighty dollar. Everybody's worried about the money, have to have money. I'll tell you what, all the gold, silver, dollars are going to burn up one day, melt away. They're not going to be any good to anybody. You know what's going to be good for you? It's the treasures you put up in heaven. That's what the Bible tells us. To put your treasures in heaven. The thief can't steal them. The moth can't eat them. Rust can't destroy them. It's just a good place to put your treasures. It's the best place. And you say, well, how do I put my treasures in heaven? Well, let me tell you what. You just stop and you just start talking to the Lord every day like we're supposed to, and you just see what happens. He tells us to be in constant prayer. What's that mean? Constantly thinking of the Lord, constantly talking to the Lord, constantly listening to the Lord. That's where we get in trouble. We don't listen. A lot of times we'll do all the talking. We'll go to the Lord and we'll say, oh Lord, I need you to do this. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. But what do we stop to do? We don't stop and we don't listen to the Lord. Because the Lord has all the answers. If you got problems, you take them to him. But you got to take it to him with your whole heart, believing 100% that he'll take care of it. And you've got to listen to him. You say, well, I don't ever hear his voice. Listen to him in your heart. Because let me tell you what, I didn't hear his voice verbally when he said Ecclesiastes, 3rd chapter, 15th verse, but I heard him because I had to listen to him this morning because I had nothing. And whenever you stop and you just give it to the Lord and listen, that's when he'll talk to you. It's when he'll answer you. You know, a lot of times we may not like the answer because we're like, well, you know, all them people that probably been playing the lottery wanting to be millionaires. Well, how many of them got their prayers answered and won it the last several weeks? Well, I don't know if anybody won it last night, but nobody's won it. It's not God's answer to give us the money of this old world. That's not going to make our lives better. What will make your life better is making sure that Jesus is at the forefront of your life. Wherever you go, you make sure you're following after Jesus. Because I'll tell you what, he'll pick you up and he'll carry you through thick and thin. He'll carry you through any problems you have. He'll take care of you. That's what Jesus will do. Jesus does that. Because, you know, I'd rather die a poor man than be a rich man that forgets about the Lord. I'd rather die being a poor man knowing the Lord and keeping him at the forefront. Because whenever you don't have as much money in this old world as the millionaires, you put your trust and your faith in the Lord more. The more money you have, the more trust and faith you put in that old money. The less money you have, you put your trust and your faith in the Lord more. Okay, you just took everything away from me.